What's the most daring strategy in war? It's hard to pick one, but attacking your enemy's capital ranks quite high. It requires a lot of confidence. It also increases the risk of a blowback. But that's what Myanmar's rebels have done. They have targeted the ruling junta's capital. We're talking about this city, Naypyidaw, in central Myanmar. The rebels fired 29 drones at the capital. They targeted multiple strategic assets like the airport, the military airbase, and the army headquarters. The junta says it shot down most of the drones. One of them exploded on a runway. And casualties? The junta says none. But the rebels say multiple. But this attack was not about causing damage, it was about sending a message. Naypyidaw is very important for the junta. It's the army's center of power. It became the capital in 2005 after the junta started ruling. So targeting this city is symbolic. Let me show you some pictures from last week. This was the junta marking Armed Forces Day in Naypyidaw. Hundreds of soldiers marched on the streets, tanks and rockets were on display, but days later the same city is attacked. What does that tell you? That the rebels are making inroads? We're talking about a very diverse coalition. Multiple ethnic armies and groups are part of this coalition. And who is leading them? The NUG, or the National Unity Government. They represent the civilian leadership ousted in 2021. They say 60% of Myanmar is under their control now. If true, that's impressive. Which is why the junta is feeling the pressure. They have now started forced conscription. Basically, mandatory military service. Men aged 18 to 35 must serve in the army, so must women between 18 to 27 years of age. It's become a new flashpoint between the two sides. Reports say the rebels have killed 20 junta officers over this issue for trying to forcibly recruit civilians. All of this indicates that the junta is on the back foot, but that also makes them dangerous. You see, the junta is better equipped than the rebels. Since the coup, they have bought weapons worth $1 billion. We're talking about lethal machinery, like fighter jets and killer drones and rocket launchers, most of it sold by Russia and China. This gives the junta an edge if all-out war breaks out, because the rebels don't have any of this. Most of their drones are commercial ones. They don't strike a target, they simply drop explosives over a region. It's not precise or reliable. So the civil war is poised in a very dangerous position, which is a worry for neighbours, Myanmar's neighbours. What if you bet on the losing side? You could end up being shut out from Myanmar. And that's the worry for India and China. Beijing has put its military on high alert. They're clearly worried about a spillover. In November, they conducted a live fire drill at the Myanmar border. It was the first one since the 2021 coup. Then this week, another drill was held. Both land and air forces were part of this drill. Plus, there was a joint operation. China and the junta together busted a scamming ring. They arrested some 800 people. So Beijing's intentions seem quite clear. They have done a lot to prop up the junta. They won't give up on them so easily. Which brings us to India. What should New Delhi do at this juncture? Well, India has always called for a return to democracy, but the rebels want more. Listen to what the National Unity Government's president is saying, and I'm quoting, "If India wants to put its words into practice and help its neighbour, we would urge it to stop providing any political legitimacy for the illegal junta through bilateral or multilateral engagements. India should end all sales of weapons and related materials to the junta." Is India sending weapons to Myanmar? The government has not said much, but rights groups say yes, India is. Indian state firms have given equipment worth $5 million. That's $5 million in a 6-month period. So India's challenge will be striking a balance between interests and principles. A lot will depend on how things unfold in the battlefield. We'll be tracking this story closely.